and today I'm going to be working on some ATC cards, so some artist trading cards. So hopefully we'll get a few people joining me live, but I thought I'd just have some fun today. I was inspired when I got my last package from Elizabeth Craft Designs, and inside the packing material is just basically craft paper kind of bunched up, just to stop everything from moving around. So I pulled it out and I went to throw it into the recycling, and I'm like, wait a minute, I think I might keep this. So anyway, I've had it sitting here for a couple of weeks, and I decided what to do with it now. So I thought it would be fun to share that with everybody. And then when you get your orders, don't throw that packaging away. Keep it, hang on to it, and maybe you can make some stuff with it as well. So I think this would be a good basically background for pretty much anything. I just thought I'd just do some ATC cards with it, because I thought that would be fun and easy. So let's flip the camera around and get started. See how we're doing. So I think we should be fine. My piece of paper is a little bit bigger. So this is just the paper that came in the packaging. And then what I'm going to do today is make some ATC cards. So I've got everything prepped and ready to go. I've got a couple of samples here. I was just playing around with stuff that I had in my stash with it, picked out what colors kind of I thought worked nicely. And so I'm going to show you this. So it's basically a faux leather effect. I don't know if it actually looks like leather. One of the steps when you're doing it to make it look like leather is to put lotion, cream, hair conditioner, or something like that onto the paper, and I'm not doing that step. So that is something to make it really have more of that leather effect, but I'm not going to do that step. I'm just going to play around with my inks and see how it looks that way. So I also have some fun new embossing powder that I got, so I'm going to use that for some of them too. So basically what you want to do is you want to take your craft paper. So again, it's fairly thin. It's stuff that was used in the packaging of my shipment, and we want to just crinkle it up. So get it nice and wrinkled, straighten it out. Don't be too rough because you don't want it to rip, although it's not the end of the world if it does. Looking at my wrinkles, I think things look pretty good, but I just want to make sure that I got things very well wrinkled, because that is what's going to give us our effect. So I've got lots of nice wrinkles. Yes, that's looking really good. I'll show you a couple of the samples that I did ahead of time when I was prepping, because I think what I'll do is I'll try a couple of different ways to do this again. So this one, I put some dark brown ink on it. I also put some light brown on the other side. I think that's kind of neat how you can see the dark and the light. And then I played around with some of my metallic inks. So this one was a silver ink, and this one was more of a gold bronze ink. That one I think looks much better. I think if it was a different color of ink underneath, that the silver might look better. But I think it looks the gold bronze one. It's the bronze Cloud 9 from Lisa Horton. So that's what this one is, and the other one, I'll just show you, was the titanium. So basically silver looking. And so that's the other one I thought I would try. So that's kind of one thing. Then this, I did the same thing. I just put on a lighter brown, and then I sprayed it with some water to see what it would do. Wasn't too impressed with that. And then here it is again. So these are the same colors. I did not spray this one, but I think what I did, or maybe I did and then I wrinkled it again and then I sprayed it, or sorry, I crinkled it, I inked it, I flattened it out, I sprayed it, then I crinkled it again so I got new wrinkles in it, and then I inked it again, so with the lighter color. So it's got quite a bit of depth on it. I have not put any metallics over this, but this would be a good piece to do with that. So that piece I might still use. And then this one, so I crinkled it up, I inked it with the dark brown, flattened it out, I sprayed it with some water. You can see that it really kind of changes up what happens there. Then I crinkled it up again, I inked it again, and then I put the metallic over top. So I'm not too sure that I'm really thrilled with this one, but it's not too bad. It still makes a pretty decent background, I think. So anyway, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this piece. I have got, so instead of the brown like I had shown you, I actually have this, it's called cinnamon, so it's like a deep reddish brown. So I've got that that I'm going to use, and I should have pulled out my brown. It's right here. Sorry, I've got, this was the lighter brown, the Sandcastle. This is Catherine Pooler. And then this is S'mores, which it is quite dark, this brown, from Catherine Pooler. So I've got those as well. So what I think I will do is I'm going to rip this in half, because I'm going to do one with the red color and one with the brown. And so we're just going to rip this in half. Whoops. Or maybe I will cut it with the scissors, because apparently that's going against the grain. So that's why it's not ripping. I thought it would still with the ruler, but we'll just do that. That's better, because I don't want to end up wasting it. I want to get as much as I can use out of this. So you just take your ink pad. So these are fairly easy to do this with, just because of the way they're designed. So all I'm doing is just swiping this over top. And what I meant to do also was to put down my craft mat, because I can wipe this off, but I just cleaned it up. So I don't want to have to clean it up again. And I don't want ink getting all over everything. So this way I can just remove this mat if I need to. Now you can hardly see what I'm doing because it blends right in. But anyway, oh, sorry. One little second. Let me just go back here, because I don't see any comments coming up on my iPad, but I had that issue before and they were coming up on the computer. So I don't see any comments yet, but definitely pop a little note in there. Just say hi. Let me know where you're from. Just love to know where people are seeing me from. So depending on how much pressure is how dark this is getting. I do want to make sure that I've got a decent amount of ink on it. So just trying to pick up all of those wrinkles. So that's pretty good. So can you see the whole thing there? My iPad is very delayed, so it takes me a minute to catch up again and see what you're seeing. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to just set this aside for a minute and let that ink dry, and then I'm going to come back to this other piece. And I'm going to use, I think I might use 2 colors on this one too. So maybe we'll go, well, no, I already have a light one. So we'll just go with the dark. So we're just going to go with this one. And then I can like decide which side I want to go on. I don't know. I feel like that one looks nicer. I don't know. We'll give this one a try. Same thing. I'm just going to swipe this over top. Not putting a lot of pressure on it, but you see this one is really dark. Just kind of using the ends to get into some of those valleys. Some of them are fairly deep, but this is looking good. It's picking up lots. Getting that all covered. The more I get covered, the more I can use for backgrounds. Like I said, I'm going to use it today for some ATCs, but I think it would make a great background for a planner page or for a card. Okay, so we'll let that one sit and dry a little bit. And now what I want to decide is, do I want to sprinkle it? So I'm going to show you. So this will rip straight now because this is going with the grain. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to spritz it a little bit. Now I didn't do it with this color, so let's see if it works. So not a ton of water. Let's see what happens. So see how that kind of basically flattens it out. So it really didn't make the ink run at all. but now I have a fairly smooth piece of paper again. Okay, so we'll let that sit. I might need to dry it, but we'll let it sit. And then this one, instead, I'm going to flip this one over. So see how the ink bleeds through? Because this is just the thin craft, the ink bleeds right through it. So let's see if we do this, what that's going to look like. It just gives it just a different feeling when there's some color in those valleys as well as those peaks. Okay, so again, this is going to have to dry because you can see the difference in the color there. So we'll set that one aside to dry. Let's bring this one back in, and I think I might just use my heat tool and dry that a little bit. Any comments there? No comments yet. I see some eyeballs. Pop a little high, or let me know where you're from if you're watching, if you have any questions. Okay, so let's just make sure that this is not still wet. Just a quick little bit of heat on that. It won't take much because, like I said, it's very thin. And if you're just popping on, this is the packaging material that comes in my order when I order from Elizabeth Craft. A lot of companies do this. They just take this cheap rolls of craft paper and they crinkle them up to kind of stop your packaging from moving around, right? If the box isn't full, you don't want things jumping around in there. So this is what they use. So rather than just throwing it away or into the recycling, I decided to do something with it. Okay, so, oh, I see Rebecca there. Hi, Rebecca. Thanks for popping on. So I'm going to wrinkle this again. So I've done it once, I've inked it, wet it a tiny bit, dried it, and now I'm going to do it again, and it's going to give me different peaks and valleys now. So we'll see how that differs from the one that I did front and back. Okay, so give that a bit of a flatten. Make sure I'm on the right side. Yes, okay, and then we're going to try that again. And look at, see, it gives you a lot more. There we go. I think that's good. It's magnetic, so it's catching on my ruler there. We'll step that out of the way. Okay, so again, set that aside. This one's still not quite dry, or it's just a bit heavy on the ink in those spots, but we'll just leave it for a bit and we'll bring back the brown. So here we go. Here's the brown. So what should we do with this one? I'm thinking I'm going to do the back side of this one. So again, we'll take the brown and I'm going to go over the back. And then we'll see what that one looks like. So when I was doing my little testing and samples, I didn't really keep the best track of what I was doing with each one. So I'm thinking this was the one that I preferred, but I could be wrong. Okay, now actually I really like the look of that one, the way it is. Both sides kind of look okay. Okay, so we'll let that one dry. Excuse me, I need a little sip of water. Okay, so let's pull this one back in and this one back in. So this one we wet, we flattened out, and then we re-wrinkled it and inked it. And this one, we just did both sides. So I think I like this side better. I don't know, maybe we can try both. So now we're going to add some of the metallic to it, and then that kind of really gives it an interesting look and gives it a pop. And especially when you've done it with the two different wrinkle sets, so it's going to pick up just the one set probably, because those other wrinkles got flattened out. Now it does darken them up a little bit, right? You can see that, hopefully. I'll hold it up once it's done. So I just want to make sure that I've picked up most of those. And again, you don't necessarily want to pick up everything, but see, so it's picked up all of those new ones, and you can see the old ones underneath. So then let's see what happens here, because it's going to be kind of the same idea. I think I need to do it on this side though. I feel like the other side doesn't have as much ink on it. So how is that looking? And if I want, I can do this again. I don't know if it's going to do much. No, okay, we'll set those. I'm liking this one a lot. I'm liking the way that looks a lot. So let's go back to this. So this one, I kept the same wrinkles. I just did front and back. So let's see what happens when we ink this side with the metallic. So it doesn't show up as much because this color is a lot closer in tone and hue than with the brown that I used, but you definitely still see it, especially when you look a little bit closer. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. See? Okay, so then let's see what happens. This is the piece I had done previously, so I wrinkled it up, I sprayed it, and then I wrinkled it up again, but I used this lighter color. So let's see what happens if I add some, oh, excuse me, I'm getting the hiccups, some of this metallic ink to that color. Darkens them up a little bit. I'm liking that. So I like that it has like the different tones, right? It has this metallic and then it has the lighter in between. So I definitely like that idea better, which is the same with this, where crinkled it, inked it, sprayed it, flattened it, crinkled it, and then inked it. I definitely like that better. So I think that for me is the way to go. Just set some of these out of the way. I'm going to give this a quick wipe and we'll get it out of the way so I don't look at, I'm going to have to, I need a wet wipe. I'm making a mess. And I don't want to get that all over all my cards. So, let's see if it's not going to come off, but I just don't want it to come off on the cards. Oh yes, very red. Okay, got a quick wipe. Okay, and then I want to do a little bit more prep before we start to assemble, so that gives us a few minutes for the paper to dry. So let's get rid of this. Ooh, a lot of static. And let's pull out this. I am going to melt some embossing powder. I'm going to plug it in. Okay, so I mentioned at the beginning, I got some new embossing powder at a sale recently. So I want to give it a try. So it's Wow Poppin' Blue, it's called. So as you can see, it's got a mix of blue and white, and then that's actually, I believe, gold. So we're going to give that a try. So I didn't pull out my, oh yes I did, silly, it's over here. Here we go. Okay, so we'll let that warm up. It's in screen. I want it to be in screen, sorry. So let's just make sure things are shifting around on me. Okay, because that gets very hot. I have my spatula, and then I need my tweezers. And then probably a scrap of paper, at least one, probably more. Okay, and then I've done some prep work here. So I've got some pieces ready to go. So I cut out some copper paper. So those are for that. But then I cut out these ones all in white because those ones we're going to emboss. So let's see, make sure I'm still in screen here. Okay, so we're just gonna do half at a time and hope this is gonna work nicely. And then one more. Might as well do what's gonna fit on the pancake maker. I'm gonna get sticky all over my fingers, and then everything's gonna be sticking to my fingers. Okay, let's just stick with that for now. That's more than enough. It doesn't look like that's... Okay, so let's do this. And the reason I've got the pancake maker is because this is very thick and it blows away and all kinds of stuff. So I don't want to use my heat tool. And I want to make sure that I leave some of those other colors there. So I think that's good. Okay, so let's, oh, that is hot. Do you see that steam on camera? Okay, come on. Oh, get off of there. So it's going to be a little messy. Okay, I think it's easier just to use my fingers for that. Except I can't pick that one up. Okay. Okay, well that's a start. So let's get those started. And then, like I said, I've got this ready to go. Let's pour some of this back in. Oh, do not dump it out. How are we doing? Okay, we got one almost melted, two almost melted. One, two. What do we think? It's really thick. I'm gonna leave that a little bit. Okay, this is a little bit tricky. Oh, I think that's really cool on the butterflies. Okay, that one I think is good. Like I said, that one is really thick, but I think we're okay because it'll melt once I put the next bit on. Okay, I don't want to close that because that gets really hot and steamy. Okay, so let's just work on this one then. Make sure I get that covered as best I can. I don't think I need to flip it over, but okay, hopefully I'm still on camera there. Let's do this. Get some blue in there. So you can see how those big chunks fall off very easily. Okay, let's go with that. There we go. And then what I did was you can sprinkle some of those big ones on. No, I think it's okay. Oh, you might not want to dump it in the Versamark. Where'd that wipe go? Can you see it melting? I know my head's kind of in the way. And then for this one, I'm going to try to dip it in because I did that as well, and that kind of works okay. Maybe it's not perfect, but then that's when it gets all the big pieces and not the little pieces. Okay, let's just go with it. How's that looking? That one's not quite there. Maybe we need to shift it. It's not touching. The paper's warping a little bit. Okay, let's try this butterfly. Maybe that's a better way to do it. Woo! Whoops, dropped half of it off. Ooh, that's got some nice thick pieces on it. It's like it's got to get some of that blue powder on it. Oh, that one looks nice. Woohoo. Okay, anything we can take off. This is not, I don't want to, yeah, it's not flat. So it's having a hard time melting. Okay, this guy's looking good. Oh, he's stuck. I might have to fix that. This guy's looking pretty good. That guy. Put that over. Oh my. Put that over there. Let's see if we can get this one melted. It's because it's not touching. Okay. Get some more on that. I'm just going to get it all over my fingers and not worry about it. How's that looking? Definitely needs more though. Didn't get enough blue on it. I think I'll ask some folks. This is the boring part. Maybe I should have done a few of them ahead of time. It's the fun part though, I tell you. When you're playing with it, it's fun. Okay, I think I'm okay. Can always hit it with the heat tool after if I need to. Just set it right there. Okay, look at this. Let's see, can you see that? It looks pretty cool. I like it. Okay, so that one's done. So we'll set that one up there. I think that one's good. Set that one up. Oh, what do we got going on here? It's looking like, oh, I'm making a mess. That's what it's looking like. Okay, let's try that again. Look, I made a, well, that's an interesting effect. Okay. Oh, missed. Take that off, and then this one looks good. Just doesn't have very much blue on there, but you know what? I think it's probably okay. Okay, so let's slide those off of the paper and get some of this back into the container. And finish this up. Okay. Okay, so let's get this one, and then I still have this because I'm definitely going to use that one too. So that's the negative from the butterflies. Or a positive, kind of the butterflies are the negative. So I don't know your experience with chunky glitter, but it is definitely a little bit of a, or not glitter, but embossing powder. It's a bit of a learning curve because like I said, if I use my heat tool, it just blows it all away. So definitely easier with the pancake maker. But even this, you can see just doing this that the thick pieces fall off. think it should be okay there. Okay, I am going to close this because those are not sitting flat. So I don't want them to take too long. Okay. Put this back in the container. Whoa. Almost saw me make a complete mess. Okay, so what do we got here? We got the butterfly, we got a couple of gears. And I think they look okay. I don't know, that one blue, that blue piece there, it looks kind of see-through to me, so maybe I'll stick a little bit more on there. Put those ones in there. Let's put like a little bit more. There. Let's see, how's it going? Oh, those are looking pretty good. Let's pull this one out. And can we get this one without me destroying it again? There we go, that's better. Okay, let those cool off for a minute. No, I think it's okay. Sorry, I'm sticking my head in here, just trying to get a close look at it. I think it's okay. This is not doing anything. Close it for a second. This looks nice. I like all of the little marbling in there. Okay, that looks good. So let's finish that one up. Okay, get some of that on there. Have I got enough of those bits? Ooh, that looks good. Okay. Oh, smoking. Okay, I think we're good here. I can get that up. I may have put too much on the middle of that one. That's okay. Okay, and then how is this one looking? No, like I was thinking it looks pretty clear there, but I kind of think it looks good. Looks good. I'm gonna leave that one. So we just need that one to melt. And I think we're done with this part. We can actually start to create some ATCs. Okay, clean up my hands. Get the lid on that before I spill it everywhere. And I think we're looking good. Okay, so let's unplug this. I should have brought an oven mitt or something down here because now I have to pick this up and it's super hot. So we will just do that. There we go. Let that cool off over there. Oops. Dropping everything today. Okay. So just giving this a second to cool off. I think it's good. That one I think turned out really nice. It's very ocean-like, I think. Because the blue definitely is like almost translucent where it's not too thick. I think that looks great. Okay. Let me just give that a wipe. Little bits all over. And have a little sip. Okay, so here are all the pieces that we did. So, I don't know. They all, I think, look pretty decent. That one looks pretty good. That's what it looks like without the metallic. I don't know how that's showing up on the camera, but with the metallic. There's the red one. The other red one. Yeah, I like that side better. And then that was the one with the lighter beige color. Okay, so these need to be cut to fit. I have prepared, I'm not gonna make them all probably, but I've got 4 bases in the red color, and then I've got 3 bases in the blue to play with. So then it's just a matter of getting these pieces cut to the size we need. So yes, I have matching dies. So these bases are cut with the torn set. Let me just grab that. So the bases are cut with the square from torn, right? That's the regular ATC. Sorry, it's bouncing all over the place. So this is the torn base. So like I could cut with this or with any of them, but because of the wrinkles in the paper, I don't want to flatten them out, right? I want you to still have that depth. So I'm just going to use my paper trimmer, right? Because the size of this, it's, you know, really just a square. So I'm stuck. Should be 2 1/4. Just slightly over 2 1/4. By just slightly over 3 1/4. But I cut them at 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. So because this is irregularly shaped, and especially because it's wrinkled now, you just gotta have like a straight edge. So I'm just gonna start wherever I start. I'm gonna start here, actually. Can you see my trimmer? I know it's a little bit close. And I'm just going to get my first straight edge. Now I can get up to my edge, and now I can make that square. So it's, again, it's not going to be perfect because of the wrinkles, but it's fine. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? That's part of it. Okay, so then we're going to 3 1/4, and like I said, but see, like once you, can you see that? Here, let's do it like that. Maybe you can see better. Right, because of those wrinkles, like if I stretch that out, it's going to be totally different. But like I said, I don't really want to. So it is a little bit finicky. So let's go like there. We're going to go 3 1/4. And no, it's not going to be perfect. And then we're going to go 2. Oh my goodness. My mind just shut down. Right? 3 1/4, yeah. By 2 1/4. Ugh, sorry. My mind just went, I don't know where it went. It went away. This doesn't look right. I think I cut that the wrong size. 3 1/4. I cut it at 3 3/4. Try that again. There we go. Okay, so there's one. So now, see, it just fits on there. So again, it's not going to be perfect just because of that. If you really wanted, you could flatten it out. You're still going to see all of the color, right? It's just I like the depth of it. So that's why I'm not flattening it out. But if you want to, you certainly can. So 2 1/4, 3 1/4. There. So there's 2. And then this one. This is a little bit different, so let's do 2 out of that and 2 out of that. Okay, so I'm going to flatten it a tiny bit. Okay, so we'll go, get under there. Do you want to start with that edge or this edge? Where do we want it to be square? We're going to go like that. There we go. And then I want this end squared off. So I can start cutting that way. Is that good? I can't see it. There we go. Okay, now how big is this? Ooh, I probably could get 2 out of there. So I can go 3 1/4. This one is definitely harder to make sure because that quarter keeps going away. Okay, so let's go back to 2 1/4, and then it should leave me just enough. Yeah, actually more than enough. Might be making them a bit small. Okay, so there I've got 4 of those. See, they look great on that background. And I'm going to cut one of this color, this lighter one. So we'll just chop that off. Let's see, I want that side again. I don't know which side is better. Just trying to get the most out of the paper. Right, and then I'm gonna go, that didn't really work. I'm not gonna get 2 out of that one. No, I'm not gonna get 2 out of that one. So I will just have to go like this. Like this, that's what I wanna do. There we go. 3 1/4. Okay, so that gives me 1, and that looks okay on there. And then let's get 2 of this one. So we'll cut this straight edge out there. And then, it's not necessarily going to be completely straight, but it could be. I can line this up with my 5 there. Better move it down a bit. Okay, then I can go like this. Out of the way. Okay, and then we're going to cut this one at 3 1/4. These all out of the way. And then 2 1/4. And last one, 2 1/4. There we go. Okay. Boring part done. Now I did ink the edges on one of them that I did. So I inked the edges on this one, but I didn't on this one. But I think I like it with the inked edges, so I'm just going to quickly do that. So it's a little difficult with them being so thin, and it doesn't do a lot to it necessarily. And it might be better if I had a sponge dauber thing, but I don't. I didn't prepare one, so whatever. This is faster, but I'll show you on the cardstock how it works much better this way. So just getting a little bit of ink on those edges. That one's got a little tear in it, right? But it really doesn't matter. I probably can't catch that then, but that's okay. Part of it is the fact that it is quite a distressed look, so you're definitely not looking for perfection with this technique. There we go. But then see, with the cardstock, it's really fast, very easy. Get those edges inked up. A lot faster to do this than the foam tool, whatever those things are called. This is way faster. Oh, hey, Margaret. Thanks for jumping in. Yes, I made the paper with the packaging from my last Elizabeth Craft design order. So the craft paper that they kind of crinkle up and put in your package, that's what I used to make this. So if you watch the replay and watch from the beginning, you'll be able to see how I did it. That is not the brown. So I'm just going to ink up the brown ones with the brown. So it's basically a faux leather technique, but with the faux leather, typically the process is to put like a lotion on your paper. So I've seen people use hair conditioner or hand lotion, and then that gives your paper like a different shine and some strength. which I'm not doing for this technique. So it would be kind of cool probably, but I think because I put the metallic ink on it, I think that might make it a mess. Okay, so that's good. And then I can still do these ones. So this is the same color ink as it is the paper. So it's just using the same color. A little piece of my ink pad there. Just gives that little extra detail when you do that. Now I haven't stamped the back of any of these. I probably should, but I didn't grab that. So I recommend stamping the backs because this is a that one's a two-tone. Anyway, I could still stamp it if I stamped it really dark, and then these ones are two-tone, so they're really light, so I can stamp. But these ones I might need to actually attach because they are darker. Okay, so let's go ahead. I've been at this for a while now. I'm going to put my adhesive directly on the cardstock and just kind of eyeball my edges because, again, this is pretty thin and I don't want it to rip. Make sure I put it the right way up. So I'm just eyeballing it. Like I said, it's not going to be perfect because the paper's not, and I stretched it a little bit, so it's kind of, so I'm just going to fudge it and push it back a little bit there. So again, let's just do that. And it's almost like you need to start in the middle and figure out where the best place is for the paper. So, not perfect. See if it will peel up and move a tiny bit. There. But a little bit of work up front to get this effect going. But then the finishing is going to be fairly easy, simple. Okay, get these ones. And I am usually when I'm doing this, I'm more over top, so it's always easier to line things up when you're not on camera, because normally I would be right on top of it trying to see if I'm lined up. Oh, I almost stuck adhesive on that, and that one's already ripped, so that wouldn't rip for sure. I'm going to go inside a little bit more this time and see if that makes it any easier to line them up. Like, definitely not full straight edges on these, right? Make sure I get that tucked down there. That was a little bit easier. So let's do that. It doesn't matter if those edges aren't all stuck down. And if I really want to, I can always go back and stick some liquid adhesive underneath those edges. That's way easier. Learning as I go. There. Okay, so now I've got all of these ready to go, but I need a sip of water. Okay, and then I've got all my stuff here. So let's do a couple of these floral ones. I've got those. I've got a bunch of words ready to go. I forgot to check. A lot of them are from the Journal Phrases 5, but I can't remember if all of these are from Journal Phrases 5. These flowers are from, this is the newest release, so this is from the Bloom file folder. And then the butterflies are from the Shielded Window. So it's just this piece, right? And then you get the negative out of it. And then the gears are from David's Gears, which are called gears, I think. Pretty sure that's correct. Yeah, okay, so with these flowers, I just thought I would basically just add the flowers. I'm just keeping it simple. And then I have some nice words in here, like this one. This one is good. So I'm going to ink that up. So I do have one it's sitting right here. I think, what happens if I do that? I think I just want to do that. That's not the right color. It's not the right one. We'll just put a little bit on the edge. Okay, so yeah, so I'm just going to stick some flowers on and a little word, because I don't like covering up papers when I spend so much time making them look pretty, or if they're just pretty ones that I got, I don't want to cover them all up. I'm not going to be too fussy on getting this glued down all the way. I think that's good enough. Go like that. Flip it over and give some pressure on that. And I don't usually just center things either, but sometimes that's just the way to go. So, fairly simple, but that one's done. Don't know if I'd like it with the two of the same, so I might do something like that instead. And then what words should I use for that? I really like this one with it, fresh as a daisy, but we're going to cut it apart. So we're going to do this. I'm going to cut off the border all the way around it. Sorry, I'm holding it close so I can see, but it's not very good if you can't see what I'm doing, right? Kind of defeats the purpose. So there, get that border off, and then we can just cut the words apart. Okay, and this time I am going to use the red again and just give it a little touch on the edge. It looks really dark when you put it on, but once it dries, you see the red. It's hard when they're so tiny. I don't want to smudge it because it does take it a second or two to dry. There. This just kind of helps them stand out a little bit. Okay. I thought I would be done a little bit sooner, but not happening. That's okay. I'm not going to do these. So I'm going to do that one. It's done. I don't need these anymore. Let's just get those out of the way. And then let's get some glue on here and figure out where we want to place these. And then I'll just trim them off once they're in place. I might need to put some more glue on the edges. That. I think I'm off screen again. Okay, come on. Fresh as, whoop, sticking to my finger. Daisy, something like that. I don't know. I don't normally do that with words. I don't normally cut them apart. It's not my style, I guess you would say. I think like it's a very art journal type of way to do words, and it's not something that I do typically. Here. Petals aren't stuck down, so it's I can put some more glue on those after. I'm going to do that. And I can see where I'm putting it. Right there. Just got to get some pressure on that because the petal isn't really stuck down. Okay, and then I'm just going to snip these off. Like I said, I'll probably have to add a little bit of glue on them because those edges are not stuck down very well. But I can do that after. And there we go. That looks nice. Okay. So let's just quickly do a couple of these. So the gear is thinking something like this, and then where's the little ones? Like that. And then we need a saying for that. Kind of like that with it. The future starts now. What about the best things take time? That one, I don't like the shape of that. I like this one. So we're going to just do this one. If I had one of these with the blue, I might use the blue, but no, I think I actually like it with the brown better. Okay, so let's get some adhesive on this. And then we're almost done. There. I think I might not have put adhesive all the way around there. And this one. Sorry, concentrating. Go like that. And that can go here. Really like that embossing powder. Like I said, it's a little bit finicky to work with. And I think I just got a fingerprint on that. Okay. My idea was to put that at the side. Just have to figure out what I'm going to put with it. And I'm not totally sure that I know. Glue gun's very creaky. Glue press. Okay. There. I should have done this before. I need a. There, do that. What is that? Do I do live on YouTube? No, Rebecca, I don't know how to do it live on YouTube. I figured this one out finally, how to do 2 cameras. So next will be to figure out how to actually do it live on YouTube. But don't worry, I will upload it to YouTube so it doesn't disappear, because we know that Facebook won't save them anymore. So I always make sure that it goes onto YouTube. That's cute. I do have a bunch of, I've got, if I could pick them up. Oh my, got this one. I don't think I like that one. I think it's, do I want more than one? Don't think think I do. I think I just kind of like it simple like that. I don't know. I think that looks okay. So let's put some ink on this one. I have that other one. What about that one? What about this? I'll just sell this. No. I like the single line. Maybe some gems or something would look nice on this. There, do that. That's easier. And then probably this one, I'm going to just put like the butterflies on it. And then that one I would do, don't forget to fly. I would do like that. Okay, so I don't know. I'll have to think about that, whether maybe I'll put some gems on that. I have no shortage of selection. Can you see that there? No shortage of selection of gems. I have an endless supply. I tell you, it is one of my weaknesses for sure, is collecting gems. I have a lot. These are not all of them by any means. Most of them, but not all of them. Ooh, those might be nice. Kind of like the idea of the gold. I think that might look better. Let's see. Let's see what that would look like. And then we'll wrap it up. Oh, and I'll zoom in so you can see them all. Oh my goodness, I just pulled them all. Well, I've never had that happen before. The sheet is stuck in here and instead the gems are coming out. My goodness. Get back there. Stuck to me. I've never had that happen before. Thanks, Margaret, for sharing my YouTube. I appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Just get off of my fingers so I could do something here. Sorry, you probably can't even see what I'm doing. You're wondering what I'm doing. They're like being very difficult. Okay, there we go. Now, let's grab some gold ones. Here, I'll flip this. Can I do that? I gotta find it. Let's go like this. And then if I pull these down to there. Okay, so now you can see those better. Gold. Okay. Yes, on all the platforms, basically, if you search Heather's Paper Playroom, you should be able to find me. Yes. They're not, it doesn't always say Heather's in front of it, but you'll still see that it's me. No, that looks silly. Don't stick down yet. There. Always do threes. Always do groups of threes. It just looks more pleasing to the eye. One there. One there. I usually, triangles also, if you noticed. Triangles. That's why I say triangles. Just a couple of design guidelines that really help make things look a little bit, where am I, more cohesive, professional looking. I don't know. Those are just things that we learned in art school. Okay, so I'm done. Can we see them all? Just squeeze them all in there. I think that's them in. And done. So don't worry, I'll take pictures so you can see them better, because I know you can't always see them great on the video, and I will post those as well. There we go. Let me just flip that around. So yes, I'll post pictures. I will upload to YouTube. I'll probably create a couple of shorts of doing a couple of things faster so that you can kind of see things quickly. And thanks for popping on. Thanks, Margaret, for sharing that link for me. And I'll see you all next week on the Elizabeth Craft Designs page on Wednesday. So if you want to join me there, I have no idea what I'm going to make yet. But if anybody has any suggestions, send me a message. I could use some ideas. Okay, but I'll come up with something eventually, but I'd love some ideas. So have a great day, and we'll see you all soon.